Let's bring in Shai Franklin. He's a partner at Gotham Government Relations and joins us now from New York. Shai, thank you very much for your time, as ever, on the NewsHour. What do you think it says when Israel's strongest international ally is saying these reforms must be turned around, you must go back on them, and yet Benjamin Netanyahu is indicating there is very little chance he's going to do that?
It means that we're a little closer to what may be an impasse, the irresistible force against an immovable object. The difference is that Netanyahu is only able to stay in power as long as he has a majority of the Knesset. And there are members of his coalition, including Itamar Ben-Gvir, who you just showed, who would actually he would prefer to have the coalition fail and be the reason for that. That would increase his personal political power than to make compromises on this kind of legislation, which won't only affect Netanyahu's legal situation in terms of this corruption trial, but also would make the difference between an Israeli government being able to move forward with, say, annexation of the West Bank without having to worry about judicial oversight. And Ben-Gvir also is concerned about the United States pressuring Netanyahu not only on the judicial overhaul, but also on the question of annexation of the West Bank or anything else that he might try to do.
Joe Biden also appeared to be fairly skeptical about any possible compromise in this situation. Do you think perhaps Netanyahu's attempts to find one are not being done in good faith?
Most people, even so many of his supporters, would not necessarily associate Benjamin Netanyahu with good faith. But to his credit, if there are negotiations going on, he would have to keep those somewhat discreet from some of the members of his coalition, like Itamar Ben-Gvir, until he actually comes out with a possible solution. I do think his announcement was yesterday. His announcement was focused on delaying these judicial overhaul and on having a national dialogue, not necessarily negotiations. Negotiations suggests compromise, and he has not said that he will compromise.
No, but he is a skillful political negotiator for all of the faults that people are laying at his door right now. I mean, what's your gut feeling? Is he going to be able to negotiate his way out of this and pull off another political miracle?
Aaron, I think one of his best negotiating tactics is to delay and to postpone the final showdown. So his goal right now, I think, is to get through the next 3 or 4 weeks. And if he needs to delay this judicial overhaul, if he needs to delay whatever other arrangements he's doing with the West Bank and the status of Palestinians, he'll do that as long as he can keep his coalition together. But again, at the end of the day, his number one priority is keeping himself out of jail and, more importantly, keeping himself in power, because the chance that he would actually go to jail, the chance that he would even be convicted of these crimes that he's being tried for are, let's say, at best 50-50. But he sees himself as being his own supporters chanted King of Israel. So that's his number one goal. And whatever it takes, it might mean that he has to shift the coalition at some point and bring in some of the centrists. But that means the judicial overhaul as he sees it will no longer exist. So he does always have that as a kind of a fail-safe mechanism that he can switch over the coalition a little bit if he's willing to compromise on the Palestinian issue and on the judicial override. The judicial overhaul, as we call it, but he's already passed this law that makes it impossible for the Supreme Court to declare him unfit to serve as prime minister. So at least that is halfway to remaining as prime minister despite this trial.
Shai, we thank you as always. Appreciate you coming on the NewsHour.